Welcome to Pressbox Plus. Tennessee defeats Tennessee Martin tonight, or this afternoon, 65-24 in Knoxville. Big effort by the Vols on homecoming, and kind of what you expected. I mean, Tennessee Martin reminds me of the time when I covered Tennessee Martin up at Kentucky in basketball. And Kentucky beat them 124-50. And after the game, Rick Pitino said, well, this is kind of what happens when you play a team that's overmatched, and they were. Tennessee Martin was overmatched today, but competed hard, played very hard. Dresser win, had 301 yards passing and a couple of touchdowns. Really gutty effort for the kid from Dresden, just up the road from me. Know him and his family very well. Really proud of what he got done today. But UT Martin just wasn't physically able to carry on and do what it needed to do to make it a game. And of course, it was, 52-7 at the half. And Tennessee probably could have scored over 100 on UTM if it wanted to. But Tennessee let off the gas in the second half and cruised to an easy victory, 65-24. And Tennessee had 696 total yards of offense, 201 on the ground. Do the math on the rest of it. 495 on the rest. That's unbelievable. Almost 700 yards. Jalen Hyatt moved up to number 2 in the career touchdown passing list, trailing only Marcus Nash. I think he's tied with Cedric Wilson, the former Memphis Melrose star, who was part of that national championship team in '98. I think he was a freshman on that team. Good guy. I like Cedric a lot. Very, very good guy. A very good interview, by the way. So you have that going on. And then you have Hendon Hooker, who threw a touchdown in, 19 straight passes, 19 straight games with a touchdown, breaking Heath Schuler's record. So this team is on a record-breaking tear. And you would never have thought that 20 months ago. I'm still astounded by that whole thing. Now, that being said, there's still a lot of people out there that are whining about the defense. Well, we can't play with that defense. I think everybody agrees the defense is a problem. The secondary is a problem. Now, keep in mind, too, you have a lot of guys that aren't in there in the secondary right now. I think Kamal Haddon has been out. I know Jalen McCullough has had his off-the-field problems. And you had a lot of veteran guys back there that couldn't play because of injury or some sort of off-the-field issue. And then they had some other issues today. Who was it? The Turnage went down after he hit his head against the brick wall. And that was tough. But bottom line is, Tennessee is 7-0 with that defense, and it's played 4 ranked teams with that defense. And let's be honest, with that defense, Tennessee has made a couple of big plays here and there to stop drives and win ball games. And I said from the beginning of the season, even before, last summer, last spring, Tennessee's defense does not need to be great. It doesn't need to be Georgia great, like Georgia was last year. Georgia's defense was phenomenal. 92 Alabama, that was one of the better defenses I'd ever seen. Doesn't need to be that good. It just needs to be a little bit better and make a stop here or there and get the ball back. And last year, Tennessee really struggled on 3rd down and 4th down. And this year they're doing a little bit better. Not great, but not bad, and well enough to be 7-0. Did you hear that, people? 7-0. You believe that? I didn't think Tennessee would be to this point, and now I'm starting to think they can beat Georgia. You can make a case that they can, because Georgia doesn't have the running game that it used to have. Georgia doesn't have the game-changing wide receivers that it used to have. Its defense is good, but not great like it was last year. And really, the only game-changing type athletes they have on the team this year that are shovel-ready, as they used to say, are the tight ends. And Stetson Bennett. I mean, let's be honest. Stetson Bennett, your quarterback, really? I mean, he's been steady, but we'll see what goes on. This in a couple of weeks, Tennessee's going to have to be ready. They can't forget about Kentucky coming up, because that's going to be a tough game. Kentucky is going to be loaded for bear. They remember what happened last year up in Kentucky, up in Lexington, at Kroger Field or whatever they call that thing now. And they're going to come down here ready to play. But this was kind of what you expected to see today. Tennessee defeating UT Martin by a very, very wide margin, and it could have been worse. I think Tennessee played everybody it had today, almost. And as a result, this is what you get. 65-24, the final. A gutty effort by UT Martin. Jason Simpson, he's been there for 17 years. He's won over 100 games at UT Martin. He'll easily go down as the greatest coach ever at UT Martin history. And really a good guy, too. Good guy, a great interview. Tells it like it is. Tells the story. And really, really pleased for what he's gotten done up there at UTM. And I think he likes it there. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there for that long. Jason Simpson is had that team as prepared as it could be, and I thought they made some good plays. I thought their linebackers played very well. I thought Dresser Wynn played very well. I thought the receivers worked hard and competed hard to get open and stay open. But Tennessee's depth and talent and ability pretty much overtook UT Martin, and UT Martin really didn't have an answer for that. And that's sort of what you expect. Sometimes it happens the other way, where you have a Jacksonville State beat an Ole Miss in Oxford, like it did 12 years ago when UT Martin and Tennessee last met. That was on the same day, by the way, when Tennessee beat Tennessee Martin 50-0 that day. It was, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was Derek Dooley's first day on the field. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what it was. His debut as head coach at Tennessee. And Tennessee won the game 50-0. It was not just an overly impressive win that day, but they got it done and won 50-0 like you expected. And then at halftime, Tennessee had at halftime more points on the scoreboard than Martin had than it had against UT Martin in 2009, or 2010. So I thought that crossed my mind. I said that's crazy. Great effort by Tennessee today. They've got Kentucky coming up. Wildcats will not go away easily. And Kentucky had an off day today. So they'll have an extra week to prepare for Tennessee, and that's always helpful. So we'll see what they do. I don't know that Kentucky's got the firepower to stay with Tennessee. Last year it was a close game. It was a wild game, if you remember, and it was a big defensive stand, if I recall, that won the game for Tennessee. So we'll see where that goes. Tennessee's going to have to really stay with it and get with the plan, because Kentucky's defense isn't bad. But Tennessee has been they've been scoring on everybody, and I think they can score on anybody. Georgia, Ohio State, Southern Cal, you name it, whoever. I think Clemson, I think Tennessee can score on anybody. So I'm starting to believe that Tennessee can get it done against Georgia, but I don't want to overlook Kentucky. So we'll talk more about the Georgia game as it approaches, but Kentucky is next, and Tennessee 7-0. Never would have thought that. UT Martin drops to 4-3. They were number 14 in the nation in FCS, and they're 3-0 in the OVC. I think they're going to be fine in their division. They played Boise State pretty well this past couple of weeks ago. So UT Martin has nothing to worry about. I think they're going to be okay. I don't know how far they'll go in the playoffs, but I dare say they'll be okay. Now, couple other side notes in the SEC that I'm kind of curious about. Who saw LSU blasting Ole Miss today? Ole Miss jumped out to a 17-0 lead, and then they hit the snooze button, folks. And I believe LSU won 45-20. Was that the final score? Unbelievable. I didn't see that coming. So now the SEC West has opened up quite a bit. It's given Alabama a little more room to relax. And tonight they're playing Mississippi State, Alabama is, and it was 7-0 early in the second quarter as I make this. Now, of course, all those games will be final probably by the time most of you all watch this. But SEC, college football 2022, folks, is very unpredictable. Who thought Miami was going to get drilled by Duke today? Duke beat them by 3 touchdowns. That's crazy. It's 2022. This season has been absolutely nuts. And I expect more of the same as we go along. That's why it seemed like maybe things are lining up for Tennessee. It's so crazy. Tennessee might get in there into the playoffs somehow. That's how crazy this season is. I'm not ready to make that pronouncement, but I am starting to lean a little bit more toward saying Tennessee's going to be 11-1 or even going to Atlanta, and I think they can beat Georgia. I really do. I didn't think that going into the season, but even with that defense, I just don't see anybody else able to match Tennessee point for point unless Tennessee has a bad day, and that's certainly possible. So it's going to be fun, folks. It's going to be fun. Get the popcorn, get your beverage of choice, potent or unpotent potable, and hang on for a wild ride because this college football season is going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, folks, that's going to do it for me. I'm Jim Steele. This is Pressbox Plus. It's the supplemental video to my radio show. My radio show has been off the air for the last 2 weeks. Next week will be the last week that will be off the air because of the United Way charity auction. From 1 to 4 Central Time, go to WRJBradio.com. Listen to what they're doing. Make a pledge on some of the items if you can. If you're not in the area, you may have to drive over there and get the stuff if you want to take part in all that stuff. But it's a good cause. If you are in Benton County and you're watching this, bid often, bid early, and you may make a difference in somebody's life. Also, again, you can check us out on WRJBradio.com. I'm on the air 4 to 6 Monday through Thursday on 95.9 FM WRJB in Camden, Tennessee. And if you'd like, I'll be back on, planning on being back on November 1st. Maybe back on the 31st. We'll see. But, and by the way, I got a webcam and it works, but there may be some other problems with it. So we may have to run a test run to see if everything goes well. And if it does, we'll be back on the air on Facebook Live like we used to be. You can read my column in the Carroll County News Leader, Camden Chronicle, and Dresden Enterprise each week. And I hope you guys do that. I appreciate all the kind words, the kind comments, and the encouragement that I get from these videos. I think I'm going to step the game up a little bit, folks. I think it's time to do that. The iron is hot. It's time to strike. So anyway, appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for joining me on Pressbox Plus. I'm Jim Steele. Have a great rest of your Saturday. So long, everyone.